UFC 302 just happened last night, and it was quite an interesting card. I'm going to break down the whole card, starting from the beginning at the early prelim, going all the way up to the main event of Makhachev versus Poirier, breaking down my reaction to each fight, what I thought, giving a full recap. Overall reaction, thought it was interesting. There were some decent fights, there were some snooze fests, there were some high level fights, there were some very low level fights. Judging was all over the place. I'm going to talk about that a little bit as well. The judging was absolutely atrocious and needs to be fixed. I might make a whole video based off of some really bad scorecards that we've seen so far this year and how it's actually ruining careers. But that's a whole separate video. To get into it, we're going to start with the early prelims. By the way, went 11-1 last night, bringing my overall record to 146-77. That's a over 65% rate. That's really fucking good for a very unpredictable sport. So I'm going to keep that up, try and get to 70 by the end of the year. First fight was Mitch Raposo versus Andre Lima. Andre Lima won this fight 30-27 very clearly. If you want to give it 29-28 to Lima, you can. A judge gave it 29-28 to Raposo, giving him rounds 1 and 2. I don't know what he saw to give him that. Round 2, Raposo got a takedown. Didn't do too much with it. Andre Lima was landing the more damaging shots. Now, I will say, Andre Lima was cheating for a lot of this fight. Had a number of eye pokes, got warned about a lot, and then he was grabbing the fence. Not to mention, he missed weight by 5 pounds, so he was a weight bully in there. He looked massive, but his low kicks were amazing. Most of his strikes came from the low kicks, was blasting the low kicks on Mitch Raposo, compromised his leg immediately. But what I will say is Mitch Raposo is a pretty decent fighter. If he doesn't take this fight on short notice, he has a chance of winning it. He has a chance of getting better takedowns. He has a chance of boxing better. He looked okay for someone who took this fight on a couple days' notice. I think that Mitch Raposo has a place here in the UFC. I think he just had to step up and take it. I don't think his legs were conditioned to take leg kicks on this short of notice. It's something you got to be drilling and training, and knowing Andre Lima, knowing he likes to blast those low kicks. You don't have enough time to train it. Your leg is going to get beat up. Overall, good performance from Andre Lima. Blasted some really, really good low kicks, but that was the story of the fight. Mitch Raposo got a takedown, didn't control it for too long. I do think Mitch Raposo is actually quite solid. I think he's going to be good. I like his boxing combinations. I like his ability to wrestle. He just didn't really show his wrestling much, maybe because the leg was compromised. But yeah, I mean, Andre Lima coming in 5 pounds overweight is unacceptable. He should be fighting at bantamweight from now on. He is a massive dude for flyweight. He's not going to be able to make the weight. Just go up to bantamweight. And Mitch Raposo, shout out for taking the fight on short notice. I have this fight 30-27 Andre Lima. Judge here in the middle has it 29-28. One of the worst scorecards that I've ever seen. It was crystal clear to Andre Lima. Just kind of set us up for a really tough night of scoring. Overall decision goes to the right guy, but this is unanimous. I have no idea what this judge fucking thinks he's doing. The Battle of the Cake. Eileen Perez versus Jocelyn Edwards. I had this one 29-28. Eileen Perez, possibly 30-27. I actually, you know what, it is 30-27 because that round 2 knockdown was the most important part of the fight. Round 1, Eileen Perez wins, landing okay shots, but getting takedowns and good control time. They actually reversed each other a lot. It was pretty fun to see them just consistently reverse each other in low-level grappling. The commentary would talk about how this is high-level stuff. It was low-level stuff. There was stuff that they were missing, and that's what was causing the turnarounds. Jocelyn Edwards was definitely better at range, landing pitter-patter shots. She did not land 130 strikes, so I don't know why it says that. 27 significant ones, so 27 at range. Yeah, she just not that good, but Eileen Perez's booty was jiggling the entire time, and it was fantastic to see for the MMA fans. In round 2, Jocelyn Edwards is doing the better work, is doing much better grappling, or she's on top for most of the fight. Would love to be on top of Eileen Perez. And then Eileen Perez just throws a spinning back fist that knocks Jocelyn Edwards down, and that wins her the round. So good knockdown from Eileen Perez. And then round 3, Eileen Perez is just landing good punches. They're exchanging, landing good kicks. They're still exchanging. And then ends up getting her judo throw that she had all fight. She landed 6 takedowns. I want to say 5 of them were from the judo throws. One of them might have been a body lock trip. And just held the control time, won the fight very clearly. 30-27, maybe 29-28. I didn't know that there was bad blood going into this fight, which kind of made it a lot better. It looked like they were trying to be friends after. Jocelyn Edwards really didn't want to have it, but she kind of didn't have a choice because she lost the fight. But But Eileen Perez, man, that cake jiggle. We're big fans of Eileen Perez now. So did her signature twerk after the fight. Her corner said biggest ovaries in the game. So that was pretty funny to see. We might have a mini star brewing. She goes in the post-fight press conference, says she wants to take on Kayla Harrison next. Let's slow the roll there. But I like the attitude. Dana White said he liked the attitude as well. Moving on. Basel Hafez and Mickey Gall. Low-level fight. Very fun fight, though. They were scrapping it. They were just swinging leather. I had it 29-28 Basel Hafez. I think he lost round 3, but he definitely won rounds 1 and 2, landing the more powerful punches. Got his takedowns that looked really good, got his control time, but they would just stand back up. So these dudes, literally, there's nothing else to say other than they just swung leather. Neither of them moved their head. Mickey Gall's boxing has significantly improved. Looked much better on the feet. Maybe it's because Basel Hafez is just so easy to be hit. His chin doesn't move. He just wings punches and stays on the line. Someone is going to put him out soon. I can't believe JDM didn't. But it looked like Basel Hafez was gassing out. Maybe not much EPO in this fight, all right? Mm-hmm. So, overall, Basel Hafez gets the win. Good performance. Sloppy, but good performance. Tough win. I can't believe he didn't get Mickey Gall out of there. That's not a knock to Basel Hafez. He was landing extremely powerful punches. That's just like Mickey Gall. Free Mickey Gall. How about that? Like, for Mickey Gall just legitimately was able to wear those punches. So, fun fight. Could have been fight of the night. But they gave it a Poirier versus Makhachev instead, which, I mean, it was more high level, so I'm totally cool with that. But yeah, this was fun. Mickey Gall's boxing improved. You had Basel Hafez had not great striking, but powerful striking. He was winging punches, so it was fun to see. See if I had any other notes here. Yeah, just big meaty hooks with no technique. That's all it is for Basel Hafez. And then Mickey Gall again, good, better boxing, tough as nails. Then we go to the regular prelims, and I'm 3-0 to this point. Make it 4-0. A lot of people saw Guru, Lucas Tracy, all these guys picking Phil Rowe, and they decided to copy. Not this guy. I almost picked Phil Rowe, but I kept flip-flopping back and forth, and I said Jake Matthews is going to be able to get on the inside, land the better boxing combinations, and that's exactly what he did. He was throwing awesome combinations, would go to the body, go up top. Really good work there from Jake Matthews. He was throwing kind of the Poirier combination where he would like enter with a 1-2, go hook to the body, and then come up top with the 2, which was actually a 4, so it was a hook up top. And those were working. It was landing really well. He got his takedowns, which worked really well. Phil Rowe did have some control time, but Jake Matthews was able to reverse it most of the time and just camp half guard, land some good damage. Phil Rowe in the first round landed a couple of really good 1-2s that I thought was going to put Jake Matthews out of there. His teeps were decent, but then he just went away from the game plan. It's like after 4 minutes of the fight, he just kind of went away from the game plan, got grazed in the groin with a kick, which the commentary was saying, oh, it wasn't that bad. It's like, dude, you get kicked in the cock. Like, it's going to hurt. It is what it is. And then after 30 seconds, Jake Matthews, like they take their break, and then 30 seconds left in the round, Jake Matthews comes out of there like a bat out of hell, just walking Phil Rowe down, winging heavy punches, possibly steals the round. I still give it to Phil Rowe. I think he did the better work. But round 2 is clear. Jake Matthews just beat up on Phil Rowe, landing awesome boxing combinations. Then we had round 3, which was mostly on the ground, which Jake Matthews had most of the control. So he wins that fight 29-28 to me. Very, very fun fight until the last round. So good performance. Now we're going to Grant Dawson versus Joe Slaughter. One more thing I want to say about Jake Matthews is you never know who's going to show up. There's a guy that can show up that kind of quits. There's a guy that can show up that looks like one of the better welterweights in the world. Last night, he looked like one of the better welterweights against a really tough matchup with long range. So, good performance from Jake Matthews. Grant Dawson versus Joe Solecki. These two need to stay in the apex for life. Couple of soy grapplers that have no striking, that don't care to strike. 13 minutes and 46 seconds of control time in a 15-minute fight is boring and gross to watch. He just held Joe Solecki on the ground. The problem is, Joe Solecki was willing to accept it, just trying to throw up arm bars and triangles that just obviously weren't going to hit. Nothing that we saw there from Joe Solecki. Landed 12 total significant strikes. Just miserable, boring fight. And Grant Dawson just held him on the ground. So really good control work, good strong grappling from Grant Dawson. He is a good fighter, but he's a boring fighter. These two do not deserve a crowd. Keep them in the apex forever. This whole fight was literally Grant Dawson taking Joe Selecki down at the beginning of the round, not letting him up, smudging, landing elbows, like small elbows, nothing too heavy, but smudging, landing elbows, smudging, landing elbows. Round 2 would start. Smudging, landing elbows, smudging, landing elbows. Round 3 would start. Takedown, smudging, landing elbows, smudging, landing elbows. You can see he was 3 for 3 on takedowns. Joe Selecki didn't land a single round on his feet, so he wasn't able to get up. Miserable performance from Joe Selecki. The guy is absolutely awful. He's a soy BJJ loser. And Grant Dawson, good performance, like dominant performance, but it was boring to watch. You're on a fucking pay-per-view. I mean, granted, you're not on the pay-per-view, but like, dude, you're in front of a crowd. Put on a performance, you boring rat. And you could see Grant Dawson was looking around for a mic after, like he deserved a mic. You don't get a mic after a shit performance like that. You're the crowd booing the whole time. Speaking of boring, I thought we were going to be in for another boring 15-minute grapple fest, but Jailton Almeida managed to find the submission. Alexander Romanov is the fattest heavyweight on the roster. Him and Shamil Gaziev both need to fight a treadmill next. I mean, but great performance from Jailton Almeida. Gets his lands 2 low kicks, I think it was, or lands a low kick. It says it's no shot to the legs here. I don't know what he landed. Maybe it was a body kick. I thought I saw the legs go up, but he landed 2 shots, gets the takedown, lands 1 punch on the ground, and then he just transitions to the back. Alexander Romanov thinks he's defending well. He gets on his knees, not fighting the hands, but gets on his knees and looks at the crowd and smiles, and then his chin goes up and he gets choked out. Great work from Jailton Almeida. Quick submission. He needed a finish, and then he called out Cyril Gane on the mic. That's a great fight. The problem is, no one knows if Cyril Gane wants to fight at all. He won't fight Aspinall. He won't fight Blades. He won't fight Pavlovich. He won't fight Volkov again. Like, it's just, he's not fighting anyone. He wants to film a movie. And you're damn sure he's not about to fight Jailton Almeida. So, he should fight Jailton Almeida, or if not, just like cut Gane from the roster, because it's just like obnoxious at this point. This guy only wants to fight in France, and he only wants to fight it for the title. So, Jailton Almeida should fight Cyril Gane, but Dana White, even in the post-fight press conference, was getting asked that question, pressed about the question, and he said, yeah, I don't know what Cyril wants to do. We'll see. Just clearly annoyed by it. And now we move on. By the way, talking about bad scorecards, we're going to get to it in a second. 29-28 for Selecki is a bad scorecard. I actually don't think 30-27 is a bad scorecard, or 29-28. 2 30-27s is pretty bad. This is 29-28 Basel, clearly. I thought this is 30-27, but could go 29-28 if you count round 2 to Jocelyn. But holy shit, what a bad scorecard here. Roman Kopylov clearly wins this fight. Clearly wins this fight. I think he wins it 30-27, personally. But 29-28 his way, fine. 29-28 Almeida is insane to me. Round 1, Roman Kopylov looked like the best fighter on the roster. He knocked down Cesar Almeida with a sick 1-2, was landing good body kicks, and was getting takedowns. He showed he had his grappling game working. He got the takedowns when he needed. In round 2, he looked like he was getting tired and wilting. Cesar Almeida was starting to load up, tee off, land a number of strikes. Roman Kopylov was kind of backing him off a little bit with some strikes, and then Cesar Almeida would walk back in. Roman Kopylov would shoot some bad takedowns, fail them, and then he would shoot a good one and he would get it. And then he would just be able to camp in half guard or full guard for the rest of the round. Round 3, same thing. Cesar Almeida tries to pick up some speed. Roman Kopylov lands a really good 2, gets his takedown, and stays there the whole fight. Herb fucking Dean decides to let them up because Roman Kopylov's not doing work. But what I do want to say is, while Roman Kopylov's Russian and he's training in Dagestan, he's not Dagestani. You know, he doesn't have that crazy beard like the Dagestanis have. If any Dagestani were in that position, Herb Dean wouldn't have let them up. There's privilege there. But Roman Kopylov won this fight clearly, 30-27 or 29-28. The fact that a judge gave it to Almeida when Almeida so clearly lost 1-3, crystal clear, did nothing in round 3 other than get put on his back and stay there, did nothing in round 1 other than get knocked down and beat up. It was a clear win for Roman Kopylov. Again, one of the worst scorecards I have ever seen. I don't know what these judges are doing. But great performance from Roman Kopylov. You had a tough striker in front of you. Cesar Almeida has no grappling. You try and fast track him up there. You have someone that has good martial arts skill. Roman Kopylov's not a good grappler either, but he's better than Cesar Almeida. And the fact that a guy that's not that good at grappling was able to take him down and hold him there for 8.5 minutes, Cesar Almeida's got work to do, dude. You just throw these guys to the wolves. You want to give them preferential matchups. Roman Kopylov really put a pin in that. All these glory kickboxers get glazed, and then we see performances like that from Cesar Almeida. Roman Kopylov, great performance, great kicks, great boxing, was landing some great shots in the first round. One of the more dominant first rounds that I've seen. Could have been a 10-8. I don't score it that way, but you can make an argument. Good performance from Roman Kopylov. 30-27 or 29-28 clear win. This fight, clear 29-28 win for Randy Brown as well. First round looked good, landed some decent boxing. Then he gets an eye poke or a nut shot that isn't too bad, and it looks like maybe that's round 2 that Zaleski was kind of milking it. But round 1 gets an eye poke, they get separated, they get back into it. The judge or the ref during the first eye poke, it was clear. The first eye poke I remember was clear. Second eye poke in this round was also clear. But the ref just didn't let Zaleski take time. He goes, nope, you're done. Get back into the fight. Crazy. At commentary getting all upset about it. We're watching it like, dude, he got poked in the eye. Clearly, he needs his time to recover. The ref just didn't know that he gets 5 minutes, or the ref just didn't think he got his eye poked. I don't know what it was. But Randy Brown's winning round 1. Zaleski starts to charge in to try and take some control back, and Randy Brown lands a sick knee. First of all, Randy Brown's a pretty boring fighter. Round 2, Dos Santos gets a takedown, holds the takedown the entire time, threatening with chokes, wins that round. It was literally just him on the back the whole round, getting good choke work in. Round 3, they're trading back and forth. Randy Brown edges it out. Biggest strike of the fight was a big knee, and Randy Brown ends up getting some control time of his own. So he wins a 29-28 decision. Pretty boring fight. Randy Brown should get a shot at the rankings, but dude, I'd like to see you fight him like you're 6'3", like you're the biggest guy in the division. You fight like Izzy. It's boring, man. It's really fucking boring. Nico Price, Alex Morono. Called it. Another big underdog that I hit here. So I hit the Roman Kopylov underdog. That wasn't a big one, but this is a big underdog that I hit here. Great performance from Nico Price. Kind of. He's sloppy. He's slow. Doesn't have much power anymore. His chin is refreshed. But the story of this fight is Alex Morono got super tired. He won the first round, outlanding Nico Price, but Nico Price showed he was game, staying in there, not going to get knocked out. The other thing I want to say is Alex Morono off his back is really good with jiu-jitsu, but he was just exhausted. He couldn't mount any offense after round 1, and Nico Price kind of just walked him down, landing the better shots. Very meh kicks, had a couple small kicks, but those he was just winging the twos, throwing random back fists, throwing the jab too. Alex Morono had a couple of good 1-2s, but Nico Price was landing the better shots, then would get the takedowns, and Nico Price didn't just camp and hold down there. Morono was going for submissions, but at the same time he was getting out of them, and then Nico Price was throwing punches to make sure that the judges saw he was doing damage. Wins at 29-28 clearly, plus 225 dog that I cashed. But the dog that I didn't cash, and I almost did. Michal Oleksiejczyk of Kevin Holland. Fight lasts about a minute and a half. This is the one that busted my parlay. The only fight I got wrong on the card. I took Michal Oleksiejczyk to win. He got a knockdown. He gets a knockdown right away in the first round. And then he stupidly postures up, gives up his arm to an arm bar, and gets submitted. Ref jumped in. Do I want to say it was quick? Maybe. But you look back at the replay, his arm was going to snap. So I'm kind of glad that we got free of that. But he's a fucking idiot, dude. He had this fight won. He should have just stood Kevin Holland back up and just kept beating him up on the feet because that's what he was doing. Kevin Holland did not like getting walked down. He did not like the power of Michal Oleksiejczyk. But Oleksiejczyk went in there to finish the fight early, started throwing hammer fists, got his arm caught, and got armbarred. It was really that simple. Good win from Kevin Holland, based taking all these fights on short notice, based from Michal Oleksiejczyk as well. Oleksiejczyk's tough, man. He doesn't want to tap out, but fuck, dude. It's crazy to me, man. It's crazy to me that this guy decided that he did not want to get the knockout. He just got submitted. So overall, good sub. Kevin Holland just kind of survived. Mihal and Jacek, good KO power, stupid idiot posturing up. We're going to match these guys up a little bit later in another video. The worst scorecard I've ever seen. 49-46 Paulo Costa somehow when Strickland won a 49-46 or 50-45 decision. I give Costa the last round. Costa had a close first round too. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I give Costa the first round, not the last round. Round one, Costa's landing really good low kicks. Sean's putting him on the back foot, ends up landing more significant strikes, but they're not doing as much damage, or they don't look like, because they're really soft teeps to the body. That's pretty much all it is. Not landing many of his jabs in the first round. Paulo Costa's blasting the low kick really, really well. Landing good body shots as well. Body jabs, hooks to the body, twos to the body. Really good work there. Paulo's landing a lot unless it's going to the head. Round two, Strickland walks Costa down, lands good teeps, really starts hurting the body, and you see Costa getting exhausted. Round three, Strickland starts actually mixing in the boxing more. It's not just teeps anymore. Lands really good teeps, but lands good 1-2s, good jabs. Wins that round, is one of his most clear rounds of the fight. Round four, Costa's looking a little bit better, but Strickland is still beating the piss out of him, walking him down, tiring him out, landing good jabs, landing good teeps. That's the story of the fight. He was landing the better jabs, the better teeps, the better shots at range, exhausting Costa, walked him down the whole fight. And I get it. Sean Strickland, it was not a fun fight. Costa was running the whole fight, but Sean Strickland just walked down Paulo Costa, which Yoel Romero couldn't do. So let's give him some props for that. Round five, Costa's kind of winning. Round five. But all of a sudden at the end of the round, Sean throws a late fury, lands good jabs, really good teeps, good jabs again, good twos, throws a head kick, knocks Costa down. Now they don't give him the knockdown for some reason, but he knocked Costa down. And then he wins that round. So Sean Strickland wins a 49-46 decision to me. If you want 50-45, I would take 50-45. But for one to go 49-46 to Costa, what did they only give Strickland round three or round five? That is amazing to me. The craziest thing I've ever seen. Dumb judge. Someone that probably hates America. Someone that probably hates that Sean Strickland likes to speak their mind. Someone that's probably a liberal from New Jersey that fucking hates Sean Strickland. That's how it felt like it went. Stupid, bad judging. This guy needs to be fired. This is the most criminal scorecard that I've ever seen. I hope and Dana White was very vocal about this. He said this guy should never ref a big fight again, go back to regionals and learn how to fucking officiate or learn how to judge, because that was miserable. But anyway, the right guy won. Strickland wins very clearly with a decision by doing exactly what we thought. He just tired Costa out the whole fight. Main event, great fight. First thing I want to say, great fight. Dustin Poirier showed so much more heart than I thought he was going to show. He was able to survive a lot of the grappling exchanges early. Islam had his back in round one with the body triangle, survived a lot of those exchanges early. Pardon me, I'm going to plug my computer in before it dies on you. Survived the body triangle, survived the rear naked chokes, got to round two, and was just boxing really well against Islam Makhachev. Makhachev was landing great strikes of his own too. His box combinations were pretty good, but he still would do some of those dumb blitzes where he ran in like that. But then you can see when he was poised and Poirier would come forward, he would land good combinations where he wasn't just running in the whole time. I didn't see many kicks from Islam Makhachev, which was weird. Makes me feel like he had a leg injury or the staff was bothering him or he had a broken foot or toe or something. But Makhachev's boxing was good. Like, he was landing really good boxing to the head. He got some good takedowns. Now, Poirier did a great job of stuffing a number of takedowns, and you could see he was building confidence. By the end of round two, he wasn't scared. He was up in Islam's face, yelling at him, saying, let's go, out there boxing. He ended up cutting Islam open with an elbow, was landing great body shots. Islam would go for the tie clinch, and Poirier would just rip body, 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 body. Great work out of Poirier. Good warrior spirit. Islam is just the better fighter. It is what it is. He's more well-rounded. He won the fight. He ended up getting a Darce choke in round five, which was one of his favorite submissions. He got it latched up. Poirier tapped, and then Poirier went to sleep right after he tapped. Great performance from Makhachev. This is a great championship fight. Used his wrestling, used his boxing, gave the fans what they want. They were able to strike together. Poirier did land some great shots in the boxing as well. We were edging a little bit during this fight because Poirier kind of slipped a hand in there like you thought he was going for the guillotine, and everyone, whoa, is it going to happen? It was funny to see. Overall, good performance from Islam Makhachev. Really good performance. Championship level heart and spirit. Same thing from Poirier. Championship level heart and spirit. Really enjoyed that main event. The rest of the card was kind of meh. I thought Jake Matthews and Phil Rowe had one of the better fights. Basel Hafez and Mickey Gall had one of the more fun fights. Strickland had probably the most dominant performance of it all. Good finish from Kevin Holland. So overall, okay card. Trump got the biggest ovation in the crowd. Everywhere he goes, he's getting these crazy pops. It's funny to see Strickland's post-fight speech just talking about like Trump getting screwed. He's going to make big donations to Trump. It's just funny, man. Really enjoyed the card though. Some weird fights. It was a weird card, but you know what? It was a pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. Love watching UFC. Love these big fight nights and love a great main event, which is what we got. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. We're going to do matchmaking this week. We're also going to do a video talking about Dana White coping in the post-fight press conference, talking about how John Jones is the best and he was completely discrediting Makhachev. And then we're also going to talk about some of the bad judging. So we got some content coming up for this week. Make sure you tune in. And as always, thank you for watching.